Great to see everybody. Those of you who don't know me, I'm a senior student of Thomas's. I've been studying with Thomas for, I don't know, I'm not very good with years, something like 12 years, 13 years. And I work in the field of leadership development and facilitation. And I'm also Kosha's husband. And it's great to be here with you. I ran one of these attunements Monday last week, and it feels like a lot has happened since then. And I want to frame a little bit with a couple of slides, actually, kind of how we might go into this attunement process, because as Kosha says, it's a very busy time at COP. It's a very busy time in life, and we're often very busy with getting to outcomes. And one way to look at that, I'm just going to share my screen with you for a moment, is to imagine that you see a tree. And in process work, we work with these three levels of experience. So the top of the tree, the fruits of the tree, the canopy of the tree, the outcomes, we have all the things that everybody's talking about at COP26 and the things that are reported in the press, the policies, agreements about methane reduction, agreements on ending deforestation, on finances, on structures, plans, the nationally determined contributions that each country is coming up with, the Paris Agreement. All those things are at the top of the tree, but of course that is informed by what is in the trunk of the tree, which are our feelings, our fears, values, dreams, trauma, conflict, mistrust. Are we going to deliver? How do we hold people accountable? Does this really mean anything? Shadows in relationships. And that in turn is informed by what is in the roots of the tree, which is what are we really trying to do here? And what is our purpose? And today, I want to lead a reflective space on what is mine to do. Out of all of this, out of all the panoply of events and possibilities and contributions I could make, how do I know what is mine to do? What is the part that I need to play? And one of my inspirations at Findhorn in the north of Scotland, where I live, has been Eileen Caddy. Eileen Caddy used to say, be still and know. And that's the space I want to cultivate with you in a moment, the stillness and the knowing. Because when we're very still, we know more. And sometimes we bypass the stillness because we're too busy and we want to get to outcomes. Otto Scharmer, who works a lot with Thomas and who sees the world, I would say, in a very similar way to Thomas, he created something called Theory U. And in very simple terms, in the Theory U, on the left-hand side, we download everything we already know about a situation. And on the right-hand side, we act. But at the bottom of the U, which is where we want to spend most of our time today, we retreat and reflect, and we allow the inner knowing to emerge. And often we move very fast from the left-hand side to the right-hand side. We see this and we solve it like this. Here's a problem, here's a solution. But how do we know what is mine to do? So we want to create what in Thomas's language is an empty space. But the empty space is not empty, empty. It's full empty, which means it's super intelligent. By listening to stillness, there are many, many inspirations, innovations, insights, understandings, like a different learning that arise, not the learning through feeding more form, we might say more outcomes, more solutions, more policies, more practices, but the learning through emptying. And they're both important. But in silence, I participate in the original creativity of stillness. So I just wanted to frame a little bit our time together now, because I want to invite you, if you'd like to close your eyes or look down at the keyboard or out of the window and take a few breaths. And allow your breathing to settle into your belly. Noticing the passage of your in-breath and your out-breath. Allowing your out-breath to lengthen and to slow down. With each out-breath arriving more and more fully into this space. into this moment. With each longer, slower out breath, breathing yourself into awareness of how you are, how your body is. Noticing places in your body which are tight or contracted or maybe in pain. Noticing places in your body which are open and at ease and in flow. And paradoxically noticing places in your body which you don't really notice, which appear absent or numb. Just being aware that there are things we don't see and feel and notice. Parts of us that we are unaware of. And being present to all of that, all of your physical, bodily sensations and experience, and welcoming whatever you find. Welcome, body, now. And then moving your awareness to your heart, to your feelings. How do you feel this morning or this afternoon or this evening, whatever time of day it is for you? How do you feel now? What emotions are alive in you? In your life, and also as you connect with this stream of meetings, conferences, COP26, climate negotiations. What is your feeling state? And how is that feeling represented in your body? Perhaps you feel hope or optimism. How is that represented in your body? Or fear, or anger, or numbness. Just noticing without judging. Just noticing, oh, this is how I feel. These are my emotions. As I orientate myself into this call and into this COP26 gathering. Welcome feelings, whatever they may be. And then noticing the movements in your mind. Maybe you have a very busy mind, maybe your mind is still, quiet. Allowing your out breath to breathe some spaciousness between your thoughts. Allowing your thoughts to arise and to move on, to arise and to move on. Like the clouds in the sky. And also focusing some of your awareness on the sky, and the space. On the original creativity of stillness. And also noticing your connection to creativity, to your inspiration, to your sense of the future, of possibility. How is that stream of intelligence in your life at the moment? Do you feel very connected to it? Not so connected to it? Again, just noticing, witnessing. And from this place of presence, of cultivating the conscious awareness of your physical, emotional, mental, creative self, I want to invite you to extend your awareness, keeping your eyes closed if you wish, but just extending your awareness to the others on the call, feeling yourself part of a community, part of a field, energetic field, with a common wish to be here, to contribute, to be present, to show up, feeling the support of what we might term the Sangha. People who share a wish to be here now. Inviting the possibility of belonging in this space. And then I'm going to invite you to reflect on this question: what is mine to do? In the deepest place of listening. Some people listen from the deepest place in their heart. Some people prefer to listen by inviting inspiration through the top of their head, through the crown of their head. However it works best for you. Placing your awareness in the deepest place of listening that you know. And simply asking the question in the context of all that you know and feel about the climate change topic, the climate emergency, loss of biodiversity, our relationship to the natural environment. What is yours to do? And we're going to sit in silence for maybe 10, 15 minutes. I'll drop a question in from time to time. If your attention wanders, I invite you to come back to your breathing, to presence, and to the question: what is mine to do? And just notice what arises. Maybe nothing comes, maybe an image, a symbol, a color, a shape, a word, a phrase. Just inviting that possibility, not pushing it, not forcing anything, allowing. What is mine to do? If you were to play your instrument in the orchestra of life at this time, what is the instrument that you would be playing? And maybe you're playing it already. Maybe it needs a bit of tuning. Maybe there's another instrument waiting for you to learn or to play. What instrument do you need to play in the orchestra of life at this time? If the future is calling to you now, whispering to you now, what is it saying? David White, poet, frames it in another way. He says, what shape waits in the seed of you to grow and spread its branches against a future sky? What shape waits in the seed of you to grow and spread its branches against a future sky? Just allowing insight to arise, allowing a phrase or a word or a shape or a color or a symbol to arise. And it's totally fine if nothing arises. Sometimes we need to walk with the question, live the question, as Rilke put it, live the question. And sometimes we're prompted with an insight. And you might notice, if you do have insight or do you have a sense of movement, that it might require courage. Sometimes we spend a lot of time pretending not to know what we know, because it requires courage to act on what we know. So you might notice there's a process of listening, Dr. Sharma's language, to sit at the bottom of the U, or in Thomas Hubel's language, to be in a place of stillness and the emptiness that is full of insight. And then we get insight, or we start to sense something maybe, and then there's a step. Maybe there's a step that we need to take. And you might notice if there is a step. And you might notice if you feel ready to take a step. Or if it requires courage to take a step, or companionship, or support to take a step. David White also encourages us in another poem. He says, start close in, take the first step, not the second step or the third step. Take the first step, the step you don't want to take. Because when we take a step, we're committed, and there's movement and there's action. And sometimes we're nervous to take a step. So we might just notice all these things in this reflective space, not judging them, just noticing, oh, interesting. And we'll just spend a couple of minutes more in the silence, and then there'll be a space to reflect if anybody wants to share or write something. Just continuing to hold this question: what is mine to do? What is the future whispering to me? Yeah, whenever you're ready, slowly opening your eyes, noticing the presence, the companionship of everybody else on the call. In your own time, no rush, no rush. And you might want to make a note or two if you have a pen or paper, or you might just want to notice how you journeyed through that time, whether anything came to you or not. It's a short practice. Of course, it's really a lifetime practice to keep tuning in, like what is mine to do? Am I on track? Have I gone off track a little bit? Reorientating. This was a little toe in the water. And I want to close with a short piece by Rilke. It's actually from a book called Letters to a Young Poet. Some of you will know this book. It's a fantastic book where he's writing a stream of answers to a young poet who's kind of written to him as a senior poet, as an elder. And at one point he writes this, and it's kind of how we can really live the questions that we need to live sometimes. He writes to the young poet, "I would like to beg of you, dear friend, as well as I can, to have patience with everything that remains unsolved in your heart. Try to love the questions themselves, like locked rooms and like books written in a foreign language. Do not now look for the answers. They cannot now be given to you because you could not live them. It is a question of experiencing everything. It is a question of experiencing everything. At present, you need to live the question. Perhaps you will gradually, without even noticing it, find yourself experiencing the answer some distant day. It is a question of experiencing everything. At present, you need to live the question. Perhaps you will gradually, without even noticing it, find yourself experiencing the answer some distant day." So with those wise words of Rilke, I want to thank you all for this time together.